In section 2.6, we're going to be talking about slopes, intercepts, and equations of lines. We're going to be talking about the slope formula, slope-intercept, and point-slope form. But we're also going to be talking about how to find your x and y intercepts. Let's start off with the slope formula. Your slope formula states that for any 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, the slope, m, can be found by m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You might have heard this as rise over run. Your slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The y and x are both variables. Your m represents your slope, and your b is your y-intercept, which is written as 0, b. The last formula we're going to bring up today is point-slope form. And point-slope form says that for your slope m and a point x1, y1, that point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And then just a couple of definitions for us. Your x-intercept is the point where a line crosses the x-axis, and that's always going to be written as a comma 0. So a number and then 0 for your y part of that ordered pair. And then your y-intercept is the point where a line crosses the y-axis, and that's always going to be 0 comma b, where b is just whatever number it happens to be. All right. Let's do some examples. Alright, so let's do some examples with slope first. So the instructions say to find the slope between the 2 points. And so we have 8, negative 9, and 5, negative 5. And so we're going to write, first of all, we'll label those x1, x2. Then we're going to write our slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're just going to plug those values in. We get negative 5 minus 8 over 5 minus negative 9, and that's going to give us negative 13 over positive 14, and that's our answer. So that would be the slope between those 2 points. Now I do want to point out that your order is just as important here. You want to make sure that if you put y2 minus y1, that you have x2 minus x1 on the bottom of that fraction. Let's do one more example with this. We have 2, 8 and 1, 5. We go ahead and label those x1, y1, and x2, y2. And now we're just going to plug those in to our formula. That's going to give us 5 minus 8 over 1 minus 2. 5 minus 8 gives us negative 3 over negative 1. Negative 3 divided by negative 1 is actually positive 3, isn't it? So let's go ahead and fix that mistake. There we go, so it's positive 3 for that answer. Alright, in this example, we're going to look at some graphs and identify whether the slope is positive, negative, 0, or undefined. So we have 4 different graphs here. We're going to look at the top left first. As you can see, as we go from left to right, the graph is going upwards, the line is going upwards, and so that means it's going to have a positive slope. If we look at the bottom left one, as we go from left to right, you see that the line is going downward. That means that we'll have a negative slope. In our third example, we have a horizontal line, so it's neither going up nor down as we go from left to right. It's very constant. That has a slope of 0. And finally, in our last example, we have a line that is completely vertical, and when we see vertical lines, those are labeled undefined with their slope. Alright, so now we're going to do a few examples with intercepts. We want to find the x and the y intercepts. Our first example is y is equal to 3x minus 7, and we want to find the x-intercept. So remember that your x-intercept is written as a comma 0, so a number comma 0. And so what we want to do to find this is we're going to plug 0 in for y. So that's going to give us 0 is equal to 3x minus 7. And then you're just going to solve for x. So we add 7 to both sides and we get 7 is equal to 3x. Then we divide both sides by 3. That's going to give us x is equal to 7/3. But we need to write that as a point. So that's going to be 7/3, 0. On this example, since it's in slope-intercept form, we actually have an easy way to find our y-intercept. That minus 7 is our b, right? Y equals mx plus b. That is our y-intercept. So we just have to write that as a point, 0, -7. And we have our answer. Let's do another example. We have 5x minus 2y is equal to -8. To find our x-intercept, we need to plug in 0 for y. So that's going to give us 5x minus 2 times 0 is equal to -8. Anything times 0 is 0, so that's going to give us 5x is equal to -8. We divide both sides by 5, and that gives us an x-intercept of -8/5. And we always want to remember to write that as a point. So -8/5, 0. To find your y-intercept, we're going to plug 0 in for x. So we're going to get 5 times 0 minus 2y is equal to -8. Well, once again, anything times 0 is 0. So that gives us -2y equals -8. We're going to divide both sides by -2, and we get y is equal to 4. We write that as a point, and that's going to be 0, 4. So those are examples with intercepts. Alright, our last example, we're going to find the equation of a line given 2 points. So it says find the equation of the line going through the points 2, 5 and 3, 4. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to find the slope. Alright, so we're going to take these 2 points, we'll label them x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we're just going to plug those into your slope formula. That'll be 4 minus 5 over 3 minus 2, which is -1 over 1, which gives you a slope of -1. So now that we have this information, we're going to take our slope and one of these points, I'm going to choose the first one, and we're going to plug those into point-slope form. That is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. We're just going to plug those values in. That's going to give us y minus 5 is equal to -1 times x minus 2. The first thing we'll want to do is distribute your -1. That gives us y minus 5 is equal to -x plus 2. And then to finish this problem up, we're just going to add 5 to both sides. That gives us y is equal to -x plus 7. This is everything we've got for section 2.6.